Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Ferguson.
It's hard to stay up, it's been a long, long day, and you've got the same man as you go. Hang on, leave the TV on, and let's do it anyway.
Hi, everyone. Hey. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Los Angeles, California. Welcome to the Late Late Show. I'm your host, TV's Craig Ferguson. Please sit down and relax. It's going to be a bit different tonight. A bit of a different show. My father, Robert Ferguson, died on Sunday. And I was in Scotland last week, and I said goodbye. So tonight, it may not be a flowing or accomplished piece of television that you're going to see, but I don't care. And I want to tell you, if I get weepy and I don't want any slow camera zooming in and music and stuff like that, you don't need to manufacture the drama. My heart's broken, my father's dead, that's enough. Now listen, I pride myself on being honest when I come out and do this. I feel the deal I've made with you over the time I've been here that I come out and talk about what's on my mind. And if I didn't do this, it would be shameful. So I've got to talk about this tonight. I didn't feel right, you know, coming out and doing my usual complaining about Starbucks, you know, and there's... But I'll be back on them tomorrow night, you know, you know, the half-assed impression of Sean Connery will be back tomorrow. Michael Caine will be back in space. There'll be frisky ponies and cheeky monkeys and emails and the rest of that nonsense. That'll be tomorrow night. But, And tonight will not, it won't all be somber. My father was 75 years old. He lived a very full life. He did everything that he set out to do. And it's not going to be we're not going to be sitting shiva all week with this. We're doing this once tonight and we're saying goodbye. Where I come from, there's in the Celtic tradition, it's kind of a wake. What we do is we talk about a person's life. There's a lot of drinking usually. I won't be doing it. I think others may get involved in that, but well, for other obvious reasons, I don't do that. But we tell favourite stories about the person that's passed, and we they're not always very flattering for that person either. It's kind of a roast, and sometimes it's a celebration of a human being with faults and quirks and all the idiosyncrasies that go with being a person. And my father was certainly that. My father was born on St. Patrick's Day in 1930, which was a source of great pride to his Irish Catholic mother, and some consternation to his Scottish Protestant father, I have to tell you. And he grew up in, he was from a poor background. He grew up in Glasgow, in Scotland, during World War II. And Glasgow was bombed heavily during the war, and all the kids were evacuated out of the cities and put to work on the farms in the countryside to escape the German bombing. And it was supposed to be some kind of idyllic reprieve, but my father's experience was more like a Dickensian workhouse. It didn't really work out well for him. And I know it was very tough for him, and he didn't talk a lot about it, but it was 6 years when he was there that it was just awful. And he had a very tough childhood, and from where he started to where he ended up was a journey so incredible and vast. It's too much for me to hope to emulate. My father spent 2 years in the British Army, stationed in Germany. He worked in the post office in Scotland for 44 years. He started as a telegram boy, delivering telegrams on ex-army, Norton ex-army bikes, where you change the gear by taking your hand off the handlebars. It's called the suicide shift. You know, they were too poor to emulate Marlon Brando in The Wild One with the silk scarf, so they used to wear white tea towels to look like Americans. I've lived in America 11 years. I've never seen anybody wearing a white tea towel. But I'm still looking. Anyway, by the time my dad retired, he had about 600 men working for him at the Edinburgh post office in the capital of Scotland. He was the chief inspector, and he was the boss, and he went all the way up, and he did it through hard work. He was a Scottish nationalist, my father. He believed in an independent Scotland. He also believed in this place. He believed in America. And he believed in the opportunity it offered. My father introduced me to America. Literally, he brought me here when I was 13, just me and him. we went to, used to get cheap airfares from Freddie Laker, and I think it was like $100 or something. And we came over and we visited my father's brother, my Uncle James, who had moved to Long Island. And I've talked here and I've talked lyrically often about the summer I spent there as a teenager at 13 years old. And I talked to my father about it recently, and he said, "Where did you get the idea I get the whole summer off work? We were there 3 weeks." But in my mind, it was a life-changing experience. I fell in love with America then. I decided then to come back. And my father, thanks. My father believed in hard work. And I believe that that's how my father expressed love. There's something spiritual in hard work. I think spirituality is not all about aromatherapy and scented candles. I think for my dad it was about getting up early and working hard and making a better life for his kids. And that's what this man did. Every Christmas in the post office there was something called the pressure. The mail started to build up and more mail, and all the postal workers were working 12-hour shifts all the time. It was crazy amount of work they were doing. And now I think it's called going postal. Then it was called... And he worked his ass off the whole month of December. But every Christmas morning he would wake up with me and my brother and my sisters and help put the presents together. And he must have been bone tired. But he did it. And he never mentioned how tired he was. But I think he must have been tired. My father also, he was in charge of postal workers. These are postal workers in Glasgow. They were tough men. They're not, they're not guys who say, I'm lactose intolerant, can we get soy in the cafeteria? They weren't guys like that. And my dad he's a big man, my father, and he had a buzz cut, he made him look like he had a scrubbing brush, it made him look like that. And that was his nickname, he was called Big Scrubber. And the postal workers used to see me, you big scrubbers boy, And so I would say, I'm little scrubber, I'm wee scrubber. But I could never really live up to that. When I was broke, my dad gave me a job as a temporary worker in the post office. It was in December, and it was back in the day when I was still drinking, and I got drunk, and I was an hour late for work, and my father was the boss. And I showed up at 5 a.m. instead of 4 a.m. It was, And another worker told me, your father knows you were late and he's got a special assignment for you. And what he did was he sent me to Glasgow Airport to load mailbags onto the planes in December. And I've never been so cold in my life. And remember, Glasgow's on the same latitude as Moscow. And I had a terrible hangover. I was late because I'd been drunk. But I was never late for work again, I'll tell you that. My father was a great whistler. I don't know if that's important, but I remember it. He could do that vibrato thing. It's fantastic. And he loved the Roadrunner cartoons. I've said that here. It really made him laugh. I know. I don't get it either, but he loved the Roadrunner. He also loved the Tweety Bird. Tweety Bird and Sylvester. He loved how stupid Sylvester was. I don't know why. That cat's stupid. That bird wins all the time. That's just... I loved watching television with my dad. He had very unique viewing habits, me and him. I went to a school called Cumbernauld High School. The town was Cumbernauld, where I was. And whenever nature documentaries would come on TV with, monkeys all scratching each other's asses and everything, my dad would say, oh, there's Cumbernauld High School coming out. And I don't know why it made me laugh, but it did. And he... over and over again for years. And when we'd watch a horror film, whenever it was a scary horror picture on TV, during the tense bit where the monster was kind of round the corner or something, my dad would always, say, mind your back, mind your back. And I pretended it didn't freak me out, but it really freaked me out when he did. And when I was watching television with him, I used to sit in front of him, and he would sit behind me, and he'd put his hand on my head. And I loved that. And he did it last week in the hospital. probably the first time in 35 years or something. You know, from his bed, he put his hand on my head like that, and it was amazing. It was great. He was a man of few words, my dad. I get the talking from my mother's side of the family, but I was never in any doubt about that he loved me. He wasn't from a generation of people that said, "Son, we need to talk about our feelings. You know, let's hug." He was not. My dad would just say, "Aye," but you knew what he meant when he said, "Aye," you know. And the relationship that I have with my father is not unlike the relationship I have with the old country. You know, with Scotland, I complain about it, I grumble about it, I can be mean about it sometimes, but I love it beyond reason. It's where I'm from. It's what I am. And last week, just as we were cleaning out some stuff. We were going to make, the room more comfortable for him when he got out of hospital. Anyway, we were cleaning out some stuff, and I found my sister found a letter of commendation from his bosses at the post office. Seems this thing had been written in 1961. He'd had it in his pants since 1961. About a fight had broken out in the mail trains where he used to work, and he'd stopped it. You know, he'd got in the way, and people were very grateful. It was a terrible incident, and the incident was dated September 1961. Now, I was born in May 1962. So, the commendation was around about the time I was conceived. And I mentioned that to my father in hospital last week. I said, that was a big month, and he said, aye. And it's true. He was a strong man, my dad. We didn't always get along. Anybody that knows me knows I've got some opinions about stuff. And we got it straight, years ago. But when I was a teenager, that the night after my sister's wedding, we got into a fight. Well, not really a fight. He said if I didn't stop being a jerk, he'd hit me, and I ran away. But we were... But I want to tell you about who he was. When I went into rehab, I was in the south of England, and my parents took the bus, my mother and father took the bus all the way from Scotland to this place in England, this rehab in England, a very alien environment for them. And they came into this room in the treatment centre, and they sat, the counsellor was there, and everyone's sitting down, and we're all going to have the family talk. And my father said, just before we start, everybody, let me just say, Craig, I am not going to stop drinking. I said, all right, you don't need to stop drinking. It's about me stopping drinking. Anyway, I want to tell you something that happened last week. I was my father had a mantra. He had a thing, he always used to, when I was going into show business, my mother said, get a trade, you must get a trade, you must, have something to fall back on. But my father didn't say anything like that. He just said, do a job that you love. Job satisfaction, and you can be anything you want to be. As long as you have job satisfaction, you can be anything you want to be. And he kept repeating that. My brother and I used to tease him about it. Job satisfaction, anything you want to be. And we were in the hospital last week in Scotland, and my father was dying, and he knew he was dying. And my son was there with me. He's 4.5. And my son was in, and he drew a picture from my dad of some trees and, a beautiful day, and we put it up on the wall. And he sang my dad, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which everybody wants to hear when they're in pain, and it's the middle of January, and my son sang him the whole thing, Dasher and Dancer and the whole thing. And, and he got through that. But then something happened. My son said, I've got a great idea. And he went underneath my dad's hospital bed. And he said, I'm going to sing a song, and you can't see me. For some reason, he thought that'd be very funny. Yeah? Maybe I'll try it here one night. And he sang, just as my father was lying in my bed, my son sang a song that he'd picked up from one of the kids', all these endless kids' albums that come out. My life's full of them. And my son sang this. We were sitting there with my dad in the great drama of the deathbed, and my son sang, you can be anything you want to be. You can be. And I saw my dad even in the pain, you know, something like that, and a smile crept across his face, and it was fantastic. I miss him. You didn't know him. That's your loss. He was a great man, and it's hard to say goodbye to people. It's hard to say goodbye to parents. And when I left my dad, we got it straight. I said goodbye to him, and I couldn't speak, so a gesture came to me which I felt worked, and I think he knew it as well. I punched my chest and I threw him my heart. Good night, Dad. Welcome back, everybody. If you're just joining us, you know it must be serious. I'm wearing a tie. Actually, I can't stand this anymore. We're doing a special show tonight because my father died at the weekend, and I can't do any cheeky monkeys tonight, but they'll be back tomorrow. My first guest tonight is a good man, and he's a good friend of this show. He does me the honour of being here tonight, and sometimes you just want your pals around, just to talk. Please welcome my pal, Dr. Drew Pinsky, everybody. Hey, Drew, welcome.
Well,
how are you?
good times, huh?
Yeah. There's a phrase in Scotland, lucky white heather. You know, when things are going really badly, it's a kind of ironic thing.
Like the elephant's feather.
Yeah. There's an elephant feather.
Dumbo had a
Yeah,
feather.
right.
Good luck.
Good luck?
Is it good luck?
I don't know. I haven't watched Dumbo in a while, but I've got a feeling I'll be watching it soon. Does he sing "You Can Be Anything"?
Not that song, but a lot of songs just like that.
Yeah. There's a lot of those songs. It's a very odd thing. Thanks for being here tonight. I didn't quite know how to approach the whole thing, like dealing with the show and talking about it. I'm not comfortable with that. And you've talked to a lot of people who were. My father died of cancer. He was. He was
I
ill
got to
for
tell
a
you,
while.
it's an honor and a privilege to be here with you after such
Thank
a
you.
touching, really memorial to your dad. It's a
That's
testament
what it's meant to be,
a
yeah,
great
thanks.
man. And all of us who've been children, had dads, I mean, just these moments that you have with him, of him touching your head and stuff, were so spectacular.
Yeah, it was weird in the hospital when we were, you know, he knew he was dying. We knew we were saying goodbye.
He's still your dad.
He's my dad, and I felt like a wee boy. And he used to get me out of so many scrapes. I don't know who's going to get me out of scrapes now. If I get in trouble now, I'm really in trouble.
So now we've sort of been touched by so much of the poignant aspects. Was there anything? Did he ever get aggressive with you? There's sort of any. It's a whole story life, you know. Is there funny stuff, negative stuff?
He never raised his hand to us, my dad. He was, you know, and in the culture I grew up in, I think that was fairly unusual. I don't know. I wasn't in anyone else's family, but it certainly my father never hit us. He didn't have to. He kind of you know, he used to say this thing, wrap it. You know, he used to wrap it up. You know, was mean. You know.
Was he huge? Was he? Big?
He was a very big presence.
Yeah.
He was 6'2", my dad, which in Scotland, you know, in the 50s and 60s, I think probably made him, you know, Andre the Giant or something.
Right.
He was big, man.
And the Celtic's such a great breed, you know. I mean, it's just such survivors, right? I mean, that's that alcohol gene and the big.
Oh, there was a bit of alcohol, yeah. Alcohol gene is actually a woman that my father used to know. I think I've met alcohol Jean as well.
I think you've met her, yes.
My father, I don't think my father was an alcoholic. He drank a bit when he was younger, but he didn't have the craziness, and he kept his life together, and, you know, he didn't have that. There's a lot of drinking goes on over there. There'll be some done this week, I guess, as well.
Did he leave directions for what he wanted, like in his gravestone, or how he wanted to be?
You know, I don't know the answer to that. I'm not sure. I've got a feeling no. Because the way that, you know, we tend to approach problems in my family is kind of denial. Right. And which I think is common, and and it's actually helpful. I think a lot of the
Sometimes.
time.
I mean, there's a lot of that goes into the early stages of grieving. It's like it's inconceivable that the person is gone.
That's what my mother was saying today on the phone. We couldn't quite.
You can't process it. Your brain won't let you go there. And so you have dreams about the person, you have visions about the person. That's when people become spiritual. I mean, I know it's not aroma candles and whatnot, but people do have ways of trying to manage what seems to be the insurmountable. Do you have a spiritual side to you?
I think so. I don't know. I mean, in a very pragmatic way, I think for me, spirituality, I hope spirituality is about service to other people. I don't.
Do you want to wish that you're going to be together with him again someday?
I don't know. I mean, yes, that would be nice. I hadn't really. It's hard to think of all that. I know that. Some people think that you go into the light and then everybody, goes to a party, or or you come back again as a cow or something. And actually, that would be, if my dad comes back as a cow, I would love to see that. That would be, because that would be very funny, And, but, yeah, that's right. You call that grass? That's no grass. That's grass. I don't know how I feel about all of that. I want to believe in so many different things, and I know that
are you jealous of people that do?
Yes, I'm jealous of people who have.
Yeah, people that have firm belief that we will be together, and that's that.
I'm jealous of that. I'm jealous of that kind of faith. I try and have faith. I try and have faith that there's some kind of, giant plan for all of this. And sometimes I think, for me, it's a little bit the way I think of God and life and death and stuff is, I used to think that everything had a plan and everything was set out. I'm not sure I believe that. I think now it's more like jazz. It's kind of improvised.
Right.
But
yet it's beautiful music. It's a beautiful...
Yeah. But nobody really knows where it's going.
Right.
And
maybe somebody. The musicians kind of know.
They know, but I think in the grand scheme of things, I'm not a musician. I'm just in the audience going, what next? What next?
Right.
And it's strange because I don't feel he's gone. I mean...
well, he's a part of you. I mean, this is how people are supposed to deal with grieving, is you're supposed to take a piece of him and hold on to it.
Right.
And it can be painful to do that because it means also accepting the fact that he's in reality gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so to take that piece inside is to really create a sort of a boundary around your life and to make a narrative out of your life of which he was an important part.
Yeah,
it's very.
I don't remember the world without him in it.
No,
the world has changed.
And it never will be without him.
Right.
That's your job, is to make him alive in you. And it hurts. It really hurts.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
I can see it tonight. I mean,
Stings. It stings so bad.
And we, and sometimes you open by saying, we didn't know your dad, but don't you feel like you know him now? We all feel like we've shared something very deep.
I hope so. That would be great. We have to take a break. We'll be right back to talk to Drew, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. I'm here with Dr. Drew, and we're talking about the grieving process, aren't we? Oh, fun.
Good times.
Yeah.
Appointment television.
Yeah, that's right.
Here we go.
Oh, man. But it's funny, though, that, part of what I've been feeling since my dad died has also been maybe I should be more sad, or, I mean, I'm terribly sad for a little bit, and then I'm okay, and then I think I'm all right, and then it hits me like a freight train. And it doesn't seem to make any sense.
People feel immense amounts of guilt when someone dies because oftentimes there's relief. Relief because somebody's been suffering, or relief but you've been anticipating this for so long. You've sort of been dealing with the grieving for months or even years sometimes with things like cancer. It can go on. Did you have any sense of relief with this?
God, I don't know.
Were you prepared for it? I mean, did you know this
was
coming?
Yes, I was prepared for it because my father and I said goodbye to each other on Friday, and he died on Sunday.
Did you believe you were saying goodbye?
Yeah, I knew I was saying goodbye. I actually cried like a wee girl all the way for about an hour after I came out of the hospital. And I have this thing that I think a lot of men have, where I don't want to show. Not only do I not want to show emotions, I'm kind of ashamed of having them.
Right, you're embarrassed.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed by it. Yeah, and it's not cool, And although I'm not cool anyway, but still.
I was going to say that, but I just anyway. But the thing that I think we lose track of in our culture a lot is that feelings matter.
Yeah.
Feelings matter a great deal. In fact, that's how we make meaning of life. I mean, really, I deal with a lot of people with death and dying, and when somebody's pressed to the mirror about what life is about, I think you and I have talked about this before, it's really always other relationships, it's other humans, and you say being of service, that's part of that.
Right.
But it's the connection with other people that gives life its meaning. I mean, that's, when you get right down to it, that is what life is about.
I think so. I always find people more like when you meet people in Hollywood. I don't know if you've had this experience. Quite a lot of people will come up and tell you how great they are.
And they are.
Yeah.
How great you are.
You know, they come up and say, "I'm so great. I'm doing this. I got that. I don't really have time. Excuse me. I got right back to you. Yeah." Tell Spielberg no. And I don't really like those people. But people who come up and say, "Oh God, my ass hurts and I dropped my wallet over there." You kind of can connect with someone when they have a vulnerability. Do you know what I mean?
Right, it's a feeling, right?
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. So even when your ass hurts, you can connect with somebody.
Well,
hemorrhoids,
I don't know if necessarily their ass hurts.
I didn't know I was going to come out and talk about hemorrhoids tonight.
No. Well, it might not be hemorrhoids. It could be a bruise or something. What I mean is vulnerability allows you to communicate with someone,
Absolutely.
whereas coolness really doesn't.
We live in a culture of solutions and get it done, and it's all about, feelings don't really matter. It's about, choosing to do something.
Yeah.
That's nonsense. That is not what life is about. Life is about that human moment. I mean, life is about, you gave me a moment before I came out here, just watching you. That was, powerful.
That's the deal here, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That we do that. You know what? The word that I hate, that I hear a lot, is closure. You know, when people say, "Oh, we're going to get closure on this,"
Yeah.
what are you talking about? I can't get closure on my dad being dead.
No.
What's closure for that?
No.
It's just like,
There's some things you never get over. If your
Right.
spouse dies, a child dies, a parent died, that is with you.
Right.
There's closure in the sense you had an opportunity to sort of behave in a way that finished it for you in that moment behaviorally, like you were able to
Right.
say goodbye. That's a
yeah,
kind
and
of
I
closure.
feel grateful for that.
But it's
That's,
not like you're jettisoning your feelings. That's
Right.
not closure. Closure is just about a moment with a person where you sort of wrap things up. But this is not. This is an open book. This is the narrative of your life.
And it continues. Drew, thank you so much for coming in. I can't tell you how much
It's
I
absolutely my
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
And it's such an honor and a privilege. I can't tell you.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much. Dr. Drew Pinsky, everybody. We'll be right back. Awake for my father tonight, and part of what we do at Awake is we have some music. So tonight we're going to have the tribal sounds of the Scottish Highlands from the latest CD, Whiskey Supper. Please welcome Wicked Tinkers, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. We're having a wake for my father, Robert, tonight. And part of that for me is sometimes on a night like this, I've not had many. I hope to not have many. You just want your friends around. And so my next guest is a friend. She's a terrific actress, one of the loveliest people I know. Please welcome the incandescent Amy Yasbeck, everybody. How are you, Amy? Are you emotionally exhausted yet?
I am, but
Really?
not just from the eulogy, but from life.
From life?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
It's interesting. I've put fuzz all over you, and I'm sorry.
And emotionally, you've put fuzz all over me as well, yeah.
Always.
I don't know
with
what
you.
that means,
That's
but
okay.
it sounds kind of suggestive and
And that's the important thing.
Vaguely
The
flirtatious.
the suggestivity must go on.
I think so. I think the heart goes on, as do the pants.
Can I? The heart goes on one leg at a time. as
Yeah.
do the pants.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? When you were talking to Dr. Pinsky,
Yeah.
might I call him Drew?
You can call him Drew, yeah.
When
He's
you were
not here.
When you were talking to
You
Drew,
can call him Fat Ass. He's left the building.
when you were talking to Dr. Fat Ass about the closure, about closure.
About closure, yeah.
You're right. That is the biggest.
What the hell is that?
That's a conspiracy.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody made that up on daytime
But wait,
TV.
But if something happened to you, would you want people around you to have closure? Woo, good. That's over. No, it's like when somebody passes away, you have opener.
Yeah.
Not I
Well,
still
don't
feel.
know. Well, wait. I mean,
connected to
how long is it since John died?
2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Right.
and
Do I have closure? Not likely.
Yeah.
But maybe it means something that I don't understand.
Right.
I don't want closure. I still feel that connection, and his kids still feel that connection.
Right.
And I'm still asking him questions, depending on what you believe, up there, in here, whatever, and I'm still getting answers just
Yeah.
from the way he lived his life.
Do you have a belief in afterlife and all that kind of thing? Do you
No.
go for all of that?
Which is odd that I don't. I grew up very Catholic,
Yeah.
and I remember
Which very Catholic as opposed to.
Very Catholic is when you have actual nuns and priests in your family, and
Wow.
and people doing this to you, and
You have
I
priests
just
in your
couldn't.
family?
I did, yes.
Yeah. Isn't that difficult?
Why?
Oh, I guess brothers and stuff. Yeah, I just.
Oh yeah,
thought-
not like my dad wasn't a priest.
Right. Well, that's a relief.
That would be very sassy.
That would be sassy.
That would be very sassy.
That would
And
be
my father, and my mother was a druid, and it was like
A
Romeo
druid?
and Juliet. No, it's all wrong. What were we talking about?
You were talking about you grew
Oh,
up
the
very
beliefs.
Catholic, the beliefs and.
Well, it's interesting because my daughter still is very open to that, and I don't try to tell her what to believe in heaven, but she says, I need to believe in heaven, which is very honest, because some people, that's the reason they do.
and who's to say not? You know?
Huh?
Who's to say not?
Who's to say not?
Right.
Exactly. But the thing is that, again, with the closure, you have to kind of live every day like it's heaven on earth. You can't be waiting for that. That's the thing about heaven that bugs me.
Well, I think that you said something that's quite interesting. The grief that you've said a couple of things that were interesting. Let me just recap for you. No.
Thanks, little scrubber.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're OCD.
I know. The grief that feeling grief. If it wasn't for the actual grief, there's a kind of clarity about it that I quite like.
That's
that
so
because you
true.
just don't want to listen to anybody's bull.
Okay. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
First of all, there was a lot of swearing when John died. People that didn't usually think, hello, may I have a cup of tea? Were like, no. I mean, it was crazy because it just came out of the blue for us. It was a little bit different for you, I know, but it's
Well, there was a
still-
lot of swearing when my father was
Yeah,
alive.
right, that's true. And then there is a kind of clarity and a kind of thing where a very wise woman who lost her husband told me, cry, go away.
all right.
That no, please, I cry a little bit every day and I straighten ties.
Yeah. Does that help? Well, if I start straightening ties, we're in West Hollywood, I get in a lot of trouble.
No, don't just walk up to people and straighten, but I will pick lint and straighten ties.
Okay.
It's a little thing. But that you own your own grief, and people come up and they go, how you doing, and how's it going? And you don't want to give any of that away. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's yours. Milo's going to be very interesting and interested in death and life and things, and he's got to see that it's okay to lose your S sometimes and just if
Yeah.
you're feeling it, and it's also okay to be happy and for him to play Disney Art Deluxe computer game. I have knowledge of this. Our kids have the same obsession.
Yeah.
But I mean, to be able to lose himself, he shouldn't feel guilty for that.
Yeah, I don't think he does. I don't think he will. It's hard. I don't know how you talk to your kids about stuff like this. But we got to take a break and we'll come right back. We'll be right back with Amy Yasbeck.
Thank you.
Everybody. Welcome back, everybody. I'm here with Amy Yasbeck. We're talking about closure and grief. Woohoo! Were we?
No.
Were we done with that? We're talking about having Catholics in your family?
You have Catholics in your family.
I do have Catholics in my
How's
family.
that going for you?
It's okay. You know,
okay.
I think Scotland is, you know, we're trying to get to the other side of this Catholic Protestant thing.
Okay.
You know.
Discuss.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think there was, as far as I can tell, there's a big argument between take this, eat, this is the body of Christ, as opposed to take this, eat, this represents the body of Christ.
Right.
And everybody
How
gets
about
very
this?
upset about that.
How about this? It's all about punctuation. How about...
you know we're getting in deep water already.
Should
actually.
I not?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah. So how about the Longhorns winning against USC? How about that?
That was awful. That was the worst.
That was great.
That was horrifying.
Why?
Because John went to SC and I didn't finish college, so that's my pretend college.
Just because you were married to someone that went to college doesn't mean you went to college.
Well, tell them to
I've
stop
been married
asking
to two women that went to college.
Oh, so you
I've
got
got a
degree.
PhD.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
that's very impressive.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, you don't remember this, or maybe you
Well,
do.
how do you know?
I think you don't.
Okay.
The first time I was on the show,
I don't remember that.
and you gave me a card with a picture with the little girl from the Easy Bake Oven on it because I was on the Easy Bake Oven, but it was the wrong one, so I made a card for you. Are you clocking my dialogue like this while I'm talking?
Yeah.
That's what actors do.
Yeah,
Bad
right,
actors, me
yeah.
too.
Right.
Okay, so, and I made one for you, and on it I wrote, hey, the Wicked Tinkers, they're the best in the world. Are they ever going to come on your show?
They're fantastic.
But you don't remember that, see?
I do remember it because that's why they're here. No,
Well, they
the
give
Wicked
me
Tinkers
sense
are a great band, and they are like a lot of people that I know in Glasgow who go around wearing that kind of stuff all the time.
In my mind, you are a wicked tinker. When I think of them, I think
I'm a
of you.
naughty tinker. I'm not a wicked tinker. I'm just a kind of naughty.
How about they came and did a education about Scotland thing or something at my daughter's school?
Really?
But they just called them the Tinkers.
Do you know what tinkers were?
Yeah.
What are they then?
The pots and pans. Tinkers.
No. Tinkers are gypsies.
You're
I'm right. And it's my show.
wrong.
Oh, really?
You're wrong, because they
I'm
were
wrong.
gypsies and they went around, and maybe that they're called because they went around like
Well, they're not the
tinkers.
same as gypsies. You know, they don't have
Because they're-
hoop earrings.
But they could make them because tinkers are tinkers. They make pots and pans and metal, and they would go from community to community and make them, also known as gypsies. But I'm right.
Are
and
you?
I'll prove it to you, yes. Google me. Do you know what Google's named after?
No, I'm just still thinking about Googling you. What does it mean?
Google the computer. I know I always do this. That's
Yeah,
the
no, it's
piano.
nice. I like when you do that.
Google the. I don't have a manicure. You call me fast. Google, the company is named after Google the amount because it's a real number.
Is it?
Isn't it? It is. But it's spelled Googol, and it was named by the 9-year-old nephew of the inventor, the mathematician who invented the Google. Shut up.
Well,
I spend a lot of... you can,
show me your non-manicured hands, you tramp.
I don't have
Come on,
any.
what's that about?
I don't have any of that. I don't have that gene. This is all just put on.
This
for
is
show.
all heavenly, and you are a beautiful and wonderful friend, and thank you for coming in and doing this show. I love you, baby. We'll be right back, everybody. Amy Yasbeck. Welcome back, everybody. I want to thank my guests, Dr. Drew Pinsky, Amy Yasbeck, the Wicked Tinkers. The boys and I are now going to bang a drum for my dad. Good night, everybody.